If Injustice 3 ever becomes a reality, it must not just continue the legacy of its predecessors, it must elevate it. NetherRealm Studios' brand is bloody fighting games, though in 2013 it toned down the violence a tad for Injustice: Gods Among Us. Based on the title, it may not have even been totally clear to Mortal Kombat fans that it was a fighting game, starring DC Comics heroes and villains like Batman, Wonder Woman, and the Joker. But Injustice was a hit for the studio and spawned a sequel in 2017 that expanded the weird and wild world while offering the same knuckle-busting gameplay. Unfortunately, outside of a tie-in comic and an animated film adaptation, the series has been dormant ever since. Despite the series' strong sales and high review scores, NetherRealm hasn't delivered a sequel, instead focusing on its Mortal Kombat franchise. While we can certainly hope the studio's next game is Injustice 3, and there are murmurs that it might be, NetherRealm hasn't given any indication as to what it's developing next. If an Injustice 3 were to be announced, there are some key changes and additions, in my humble opinion, that NetherRealm could make to elevate the franchise. For your and NetherRealm's consideration, make sure Injustice 3's DLC characters aren't one-offs. The first two Injustice games had expansive rosters, but there are plenty more heroes and villains from the DC universe NetherRealm could bring in for a potential threequel. First, however, some of the DLC fighters need to be brought back and be used for storytelling purposes. Characters like Batgirl, Martian Manhunter, and Zatanna were great additions in the first game, but were nowhere to be found in the second. Similarly, Black Manta, Starfire, and Enchantress offered great character variety in the second game, and we can only hope they return if the series continues. Injustice: Gods Among Us had 24 characters for its base roster, while Injustice 2 had 28, and the DLC additions pushed its roster to almost 40. Unfortunately, outside of a tie-in comic and animated film adaptation, the series has been dormant ever since. Despite the series' strong sales and high review scores, NetherRealm hasn't delivered a sequel, instead focusing on its Mortal Kombat franchise. What? NetherRealm has demonstrated time and again it can deliver plenty of unique heroes for each of its games. So I have no doubt that if Injustice 3's base roster were to include 30+ heroes, they'd all feel unique and justified. Personally, I'm hoping for more Teen Titans. Add these characters to Injustice 3 Lightning Round? Batman Beyond Batman, because a little nostalgia for O's cartoons never hurts. Batwoman. Just about everyone else in the Bat family has made it. Why not Kate Kane? Beast Boy. Fans have long wanted Beast Boy in the series, and for good reason. His shape-shifting powers have the potential for the most unique moveset of any fighter. John Constantine plays a huge role in the original Injustice comics, but has yet to be playable in the games. Kilowog, the more Green Lanterns, the better. King Shark, scene stealer in everything he appears in, whether we're talking the Suicide Squad or Harley Quinn. Mr. Miracle, everyone's favorite depressed hero before Bob from Thunderbolts came along. Naomi, probably Brian Michael Bendis' best addition to the DC universe. It's time Naomi got to kick some butt in a game. Ra's al Ghul, Batman's father-in-law, deserves to duel his son-in-law shirtless, just like in the animated show. Peacemaker? He's already in Mortal Kombat 1, so just bring his peace-loving ass over. Static? How did Static join the mobile game before the real game? Terra? One of the most influential Teen Titans can be Injustice's version of Mortal Kombat's Tremor. Go back to comic-accurate suits. Injustice 2 swapped out alternate costumes for gear. Instead of adorning Batman in his Red Sun costume or Nightwing in his new 52 digs, you'd instead equip various pieces of gear to each character. You could also add different shaders, giving each character wildly different color schemes than they were traditionally known for, like a purple Superman or gold Green Lantern. Each character ultimately ended up with a similar, armored-up aesthetic. Gone were the unique comic-accurate skins. Personally, I wasn't a fan of Injustice 2's gear system. Even aside from the aesthetics, it introduced a tedious item management system to the game, full of stats, transmog options, and of course, microtransactions. Instead, I prefer Injustice 3 to go back to a focus on alternate costumes inspired by comics, movies, and everything else. There have been plenty of new costumes for each hero introduced since the games dropped, meaning the possibilities for alternate skins in a new game would be quite substantial. Add premium skins for more character variety. Premium skins from both games need to return, and I'd love for even more to be included. Premium skins would change the appearance and voice of a character while retaining its moveset. For example, equipping the Reverse Flash costume for Flash would turn the character into his arch nemesis, but play the same as the hero you know and love. Characters like the Flash and Green Lantern are ripe for premium skins, so players could fight as Wally West or Simon Boz without entirely new characters needing to be made. And could you imagine playing as 2022's The Batman's version of the character with voice work by Robert Pattinson? Or as David Cornsweat's Superman? Oh, let's speak it into existence. Take advantage of DC Comics' multiversal characters and stories. The first Injustice game was a light multiverse story with characters from just 2 worlds. How quaint. Injustice 2 stuck to one parallel world. I mean, with the explosion in multiverse stories, who wouldn't want to see hundreds of versions of characters? Is NetherRealm going to create a plethora of new heroes? Probably not, but it's amusing to think about. Maybe he'll draw inspiration from Dark Knight's metal, or even bring in Watchmen characters, because crossovers never get old, right? To see how they interpret Rorschach, Ozymandias, and Dr. Manhattan, such potential for groundbreaking storytelling. Could they shake things up with Mortal Kombat versus Injustice? The title's just sitting right there. What an original concept. But really, who knows what they're cooking up at NetherRealm? Perhaps a third Injustice isn't dead in the water. Can't wait for Warner Brothers' big cohesive storytelling universe across films, TV series, and games. Surely that will only end well. Bravo!